Biden, we don't have a competent vice president.
And I think that we got to acknowledge something real here. Meritocracy is the system.
They're not going to get there. They're not made that way.
That said that if that Hunter Biden laptop story
have any arguments against that right now, and I want to see how it goes. All right, here we go. So we got, and I'm just now being introduced to Adam Carolla's show. And I did not know that this dude was the stand-up comedian. And he's been on TV shows and movies. And I've seen his face when he was interviewing Tucker. And I was like, this dude looked familiar as hell. And just realized yesterday exactly who he is. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to pull this video up right here so we can check it out, because he has Vivek on here talking about affirmative action. I know this is going to trigger somebody, because there's a boatload of people out there who still get butthurt whenever this conversation comes up. Why? Because there are some people who are like, yo, you really want to be fair? Do you really want to have this conversation? Most times people don't want to have the conversation for real. And that's on both sides. That's really on both sides. But listen to this conversation. I think it's a pretty good conversation. But watch this. Trust me.
Biden, we don't have a competent vice president because it's affirmative action hire. We have many people in this cabinet are not effective because you want full affirmative action versus full meritocracy.
That's right. And I think that we got to acknowledge something real here. Do some real talk. So merit, right? True meritocracy, true merit, and group quotas or group equity, they are fundamentally incompatible.
Yes.
You can't do both those things at the same time, right? It's just, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I hear that, right? He's talking about the difference between meritocracy, getting something off of merit alone. Like you've earned it, you've worked for it, you've busted your ass for it, versus being given it because maybe you're one of those protected groups that's been left behind, that's gotten the short end of the stick, that's gone through a lot. You remind people of everything you've gone through all the time. And because of that, you should receive more. Okay, let's go.
And so that's what we have to acknowledge and come to terms with. There will never be group equity if we have colorblind meritocracy, just because different people, different human beings have different capacities in different areas. Meritocracy is the system where, regardless of what your God-given gifts are, you can achieve the maximum of your God-given potential.
You hear that? Regardless of your God-given gifts, you can still receive the maximum of your God-given potential simply by the blood, sweat, and tears that you decide to put into it, the dedication that you decide to put into it, the hard work that you decide to put into it. You may not get what you're chasing, but you're going to get something more than the person that's not working as hard as you. You're definitely going to achieve some great heights if you're out there running and trying to chase whatever it is you're trying to chase.
Right? Nobody, I'm going to take the liberty of saying this, Adam. You and I don't know each other well, so tell me if I'm off base on this. But nobody should want to see you and me in the NBA,
right?
Even if that would contribute to greater group equity in the NBA. I don't think there's a single Indian American, like not one, in the entire NBA, and I am okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with that. Now, if
there's not an Indian American, I think there is. There's not. I think he's talking about someone who's from India. And then they moved to America and became Indian American. Not somebody who's native.
Excellent. And you don't have to change the standards for them to be. By all means, get them in there. I think that even, where does the rubber hit the road? Even in our military, right? I think that right now, I mean, we don't talk about the real woke issue in the military. It is reducing the physical standards for women in combat roles. This is one you're not supposed to talk about in public. It's not in that binder of traditional Republican talking points that you're supposed to talk about right now. But if you want to talk about the truth, that sort of deracializes this, right? Because it's not just about race. It's in any domain.
It's dumb as hell. You're going to dumb down some certain qualifications of physical activity and mental activity in order to qualify a lesser group who are misrepresented because it's not enough of them at the top of the hill. Damn that, man. I'm sorry, but damn that. Listen, I get that the standards are like certain standards should be different. Like in order to move up, you shouldn't have to bench press 300 because we know more than likely most women aren't going to get there. They're not going to get there. They're not made that way. That's just stupid. I mean, if it's some type of physical, but when you have to, women should compete against women and there should be a standard for women. Men should compete against men and there should be a standard for men. Period. That's how it should be, but nothing should be lowered. Nothing should be dumbed down. Compete for what you want. You're being trained to be the most kick-ass group of individuals in the world. If you're going to be a soldier for the U.S. military and you want to represent the best, the strongest, the baddest military in the world, then you need to be a badass. Don't lower any standards and have them out there fighting just because.
You made the qualifications because they done lowered it by 20%.
No. That's what they're doing in the daggone police force. They doing that everywhere just for equity and equality. Come on, man. It's dumbing down everything. It's crazy.
We should not be lowering the physical standards required in order for women to compete or serve in combat roles. You don't have to change the standards, then fine. It can be man, woman, it doesn't matter. Because what you care there is the most meritocratically capable person who on the front lines of a battlefield can drag his fellow soldier off the field to save his life. And I think that that's something we've abandoned in the United States of America. And we have to confront the reality that group equity and meritocracy are fundamentally incompatible. You cannot have both. Pick one.
And
right?
Yeah.
It's America picked group equity. I pick meritocracy. That's the difference.
And even to put a finer point on it, which is well placed as your heart may be when you're talking about affirmative action, at some point, it's not just about uplifting a certain group. You're going to have to punish another group who deserves to be there. It's impossible just to go, I'm going to lift one group. You can go, I want more African Americans on UC campuses. Fine, but there's a finite number of places of people who can go into UCLA, and at some point, you're going to have to start taking Asians and knocking them off.
That is true. It's happening already. Y'all already know that. A lot of people are losing out because of affirmative action. And guess what? Some of the people who are losing out because of affirmative action are some of the people who are gaining these opportunities because of affirmative action. How does this work? And I heard this from Thomas Sowell. He spoke on this before, and I'm sure I'm messing it up. I'm not trying to quote him or anything. This was my understanding that some people get opportunities to go to school at certain high performing universities, right? And they get these opportunities because they from testing a little lower than others who try to get in there or have grades that's a little lower from others who are trying to get in there. And they're getting in there because they are African American or they are women, right? But let's stick with the African American thing. But some of the people who get in there don't understand that, yeah, I'm here, but I have to perform at the rate that at the standards that they already have. And then a lot of those individuals losing their scholarships, they end up failing their classes because they did not meet the standard qualifications that was necessary in order for them to keep up in the first place. So while they're taking the opportunities and they're taking up the room, while they're taking these opportunities, there are other people who do test far higher than them, who do have grades far better than theirs, and they are losing opportunities to go to these universities because it was given to somebody else because of their protected group. And this right here is screwing things up, man. It really is. It really is.
So that's the real sort of dirty underlying math that you cannot get around when you're talking about affirmative action.
And there you have it. So basically what he brought up is, somebody else is gaining an opportunity, but somebody else is losing an opportunity. So either way, oh no. But I do want to hear what y'all have to say. What I say is not law. What I say is just my own opinion. We all have opinions, but I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know. Also, be sure to share this on your social media platform, your favorite one. Just take that link and share it.